All right, peace, everybody, and welcome to the Lunar Cycle Herbalism and Gardening Herbalist Lounge for April.
Peace.
We're so glad to have everybody.
Happy herbiversary, herb nerds.
Yes,
Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
this is number 9, I feel like.
We don't even
Wow.
remember anymore, but yeah, 9 years, y'all. 9 years doing this. A full cycle. Look at that.
Ooh, Divine 9, okay. All right, cool. So, welcome everybody. We're so glad to have y'all. We had a short break. Everybody was not where they lived at the moment. We were all in transition to somewhere. So we needed to focus on that, and it was a good time to do so because now we're back with this. And again, we're so happy to see everybody here. So you know how this goes. Your facilitators for the evening. We have Martina. Hey, Martina.
Peace.
Peace. We have Lanita. Hey, Lanita.
Hello, I'm whispering.
And we have Asia. Hello, everybody. And we also, everybody is special here, of course, but I just love to call Sister Beverly every time you are here. It is a special treat. So I just had to say your name specifically. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. So you know how we do this. First, we're going to say thank you to our ancestors, our plant sisters, and all those that came before us that allowed this to make this happen, that lived their lives so boldly and bravely and courageously, and allowed for stuff to come through them so that we could be here in this moment and so that we can talk about these things freely. It's so important. So thank you so much, so much. Thank you. And now y'all know how we do this. So all the old herb nerds, please feel free to introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from. What herb are you represent, or what herb is representing you tonight? And yeah, let's share. Who are you? Where you from?
I'm Beverly. I'm in Florida, down in Miami, and I am representing marjoram.
Ooh.
Ew.
Love it. All right. Who else we got? Well, I'll
Okay,
go.
this is
Go ahead, Lanita. Go ahead.
this is Lanita. I'm in Frankfurt, and we have got so much dandelion all around me. It's beautiful. So I'm feeling that yellow wonderfulness popping up out the sidewalks here. So I'm dandelion tonight.
All right. Well, y'all know this is Martina, and I'm repping the FLA, Florida. I'm a little north of Sister Beverly, in Central Florida. And tonight I am vibing with none other than the beautiful magnolia, one of the first flowering plants, because I'm an OG. You feel me? My goal is to be OG one day in this lifetime, an original gardener. You feel me? So, and I'm drinking H2O. Got to keep the situation moisturized.
That's right. That's right. And this is Asia. I'm always repping Texas in the worldwide stage, but also I'm repping Nevada as well. So over here in the desert lands again, and it's awesome. So I am going to say marshmallow root tonight. Definitely a moon herb and good for easing some things through. So
Wow.
yes, I'm feeling.
All right.
So let's talk about these things. And remember now, if you're new here, welcome. But the rest of you all know, this is not a lecture. So this is a discussion. So let's talk about it. So what's the moon?
The moon is, what does it mean to you?
Hmm. Hmm. To me, it's do we do this? Do we do it in the chat?
Oh, feel free to go ahead and speak your mind. You can do it on the chat or you can speak freely now.
Yeah.
Whenever.
The moon to me is a guide.
Mm.
It's that one thing throughout history that has guided everything. When you get up, when you lay down, when you go to sleep, when you do this, when you do that, when you eat this, when you grow that. It's just, to me, it's a natural guide.
Love that. Thank you so much, Beverly. And we got some people in the chat. I wanted to go ahead and Akua, shout out Akua. Greetings. Akua from Canada representing Bay Leaf for spiritual healing. Love it. And speaking of spiritual healing and just healing in general, Clarissa said the moon is energy, healing. And we have Zora B tuning in from Atlanta and representing another mallow family plant member, hibiscus. Love it. Okay. Anybody else? What's the moon to you?
You know, the moon for me is water. I think of moon and water and cycles and following that moon, watching the phases and just thinking about the ocean and all the water, how the water goes kind of hand in hand with wherever the moon is. So for me, moon is a connection to the water and the cycles of it all.
I love that. The moon for me is, while you're speaking of cycles, is how I chart my cycles. I told you some earlier. We'll talk about that later. But so I know, 28 days, I can be counting on that cycle to come in and go out, but definitely in charting those things, and sometimes even charting when people's energy, like somebody else said, whether their energy is going to be calm and cool or it's going to be off the charts, right? So even in just my regular 9 to 5 job, sometimes I know that when I'm on the phone with human resources more than usual, I'm like, yep, it's a full moon. And it really always is. So, definitely for me, what I've observed is a controller of, or, not necessarily a controller, but people may be in tune with it, but you can definitely use it to chart what could be happening around you.
So the moon to me is a lot of what a lot of you all said, like a timekeeper. Definitely intrigued by the phases. And mostly when I think of the moon, I think of my maternal grandmother, which is interesting because her astrological sign was Cancer, so was mine, Cancer. And we know that the ruling planet of Cancer is the moon. But when I was young, my grandma used to tell me, the moon is watching you. And as the moon would wax, it was paying more attention to me. So from the time I was young, the moon was always very mystical. It was so close. And I was so intrigued by the moon. And I just wanted to learn more about the moon, how it affected me, and things of that nature. So it has a strong maternal connection through my grandmother's lineage. Myself, I think of birth cycles. I just think of all types of cycles. And it reminds us of the interconnectedness of everything with the lunar cycles, and not to forget about all the planetary cycles that are intertwined with the lunar cycles as well. And yes, Cancer's in the house, Clarissa. What up?
That's beautiful. I love it. Okay. All right. So when we were always, me, Martina, and Lanita, we're always discussing and talking about plants. I mean, just like every Sunday, we just on the phone talk about plants, and it's cool. So we started to get on this topic of lunar gardening and the things that we remember and know and feel about the moon. So, of course, this is not a limited discussion. So everybody can join in on this, of course. But we were talking about what we remember, and something that we brought up was some people, like some of our elders, have advised to plant on the full moon. Some of our elders have advised, seeding on the new moon. So, what are some things that you all have heard and have done when we're talking about gardening and planting and harvesting, even with the moon cycle?
Hey, just want to say hey to Fatima from KC. And with the moon, we have a lot of different myths around the moon. Also, they associate women with the moon, and we are. But my grandmother's thing was there was a new moon and there was a growing moon. And the new moon is when, if you had to have any kind of procedure done, if you were going to cut your hair, if you had to have surgery or tooth pull, you do that on the new moon. But if you're going to plant your garden, you do that on the full moon. And that was just her. I don't know if that was a Mississippi myth or whatever, but that was what she lived by.
Okay, thank you, Anita. So, and what I've been told is that, yes, definitely planting on the full moon, um, because the full moon is pulling more so on the water. Now, I have not done the observation, I have followed that, but as far as charting whether it's the full moon or the new moon or, a half moon or anything like that, I haven't charted it. However, that's just one of the folk things that I've followed.
Similar, like when I think about the moon, this topic always comes up in my classroom. A lot of the students that I've had over the past few years have become very interested, and it's brought up in the classroom often about, astrology, and this whole thing with they'll have debates in the classroom and I'm just sitting back and listening to them. And the students will say things like, oh, the planets don't have anything to do with how our personalities are, or how we feel. And then another student will come out and be like, oh, yeah. So then the moon comes up. And I'll never forget this time. And I had this conversation too, but this time a student brought it up and was using the moon as an example. And I just loved it because, the moon is like one of the closest planetary bodies to us, to Earth. And they were just like, well, the moon affects the tides. Okay. Well, there's water in the earth, in the ground, in the soil, in the plants. There's waters in what's most of our bodies made up of? Water. And I just love to see, like, in that moment, you see like this click within people, like an aha moment, like, oh, that makes sense. Now you're making sense to me. Now I can see how something that may seem so made up can actually be real. So, always heard about how that gravitational pull, the full moon, it's pulling up the tides. Because when I was young, I lived near the ocean, And I remember going out to the beach at night with my mom, or just going out to the beach, and during the full moon, the tide would come up, and we used to track it, and as the moon would wane and go back down to a new moon, we would see the tides go down. You can actually see the marks on the shore. So that always fascinated me. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but during science fair time, there's always that science project with geotropism where they want to see how plants grow in response to gravity. So, we have like how water is affected by the moon, which makes a lot of sense when it comes to gardening in many aspects. And then gravity, how they have that science project where if you plant a seed sideways, or like a bulb sideways, or you plant a seed and you turn it upside down, the roots still know which direction to go down and the stems know where to go up. And I've always thought that was so dope, how the roots grow downward in direction of the gravitational pull, and then the stems grow in opposite direction. And then I learned about the connection to that of the moon and the sun and just the magnetic attraction. So when I think about the moon and all these things, it makes a lot of sense. But I'm just really excited to build with everyone on this, because I don't feel like one phase is said for, I know there are generalizations, but at the same time, I feel like maybe different regions, different plants, may possibly, like Asia said, I haven't intentionally observed it as much as I would have liked to. But definitely moving forward, I would like to, on how it affects it from more of a personal experience. So.
I live by the lunar system. Even in commercial growing, I call it my secret weapon. A seed is a seed. Commercial backyard container. Soil is soil. Organic, aerobic, water, all of that stuff. It's the constant that stays the same, but the moon changes. And even the beginning of the month, man, I got them girls seeding like their lives depend on it. And it's like we got to get done by the 10th of the month. And they don't even realize that we're using the lunar system. So when they say, how can you predict your harvest? Because I know, okay, in 4 weeks, I'm going to get a new moon. I'm not seeding, but I'm going to go 8 weeks because I'm going to start harvesting that second cycle. And it is different in the different parts of the U.S. and the world. It is different because, in the U.S. we have something called daylight savings time, and we have different time zones. So when you start looking at what time it is and where the moon is at, you got to figure out when it's where you at on that spectrum. It's so cool. All these controlled environment places, guess what they run on? The moon cycle. So lunar cycle growing is huge, and commercial growing is huge. And my mom's from Mississippi too. The new moon, you're gonna do this. When it's waxing, you're gonna do that. When it's full moon, you're gonna do this. And we live by it. And me and Martina was talking the other day, and I was telling her, check out the Ethiopian calendar. And it's kind of so cool because they are the only country in the world that use a 28-day calendar.
Does anybody know how it changes things when people are using grow lights and keeping grow lights going all the time? Because then that just kind of negates the moon's whole cycle there.
When you're using a grow light, you're trying to stretch your daytime light.
Right.
What they call the daylight intensity. I'm gonna tell you how smart a plant is. You could stretch all the light, the synthetic lights, but that plant knows once that light goes out, it reverts back to its natural what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're stretching, you're using the red and the blue lights and all of that stuff. You're increasing the light time, but you're not changing the plant's behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to modify a reaction, like when we do marijuana, and so we don't want it to go to bud. We turn the light on for 18 hours, and the plant just thinks, hey, okay. But what we're doing is keeping the plant stunted. So then you say, well, do grow lights really help? It depends. But it's not changing the astrological behavior of that plant.
Good to know. Oh.
Yeah, buying grow lights, only time you want to use grow lights if you're trying to grow in the basement. Let me ask you what you're trying to grow in your basement. You don't need no grow lights to grow no herbs. But not, you just, when I say the moon is a guide, it guides everything we do. Because, I love people to ask me, what's my zodiac sign? And if I want to be funny, I'll say, I'm a Virgo. Oh, I'm a Sagittarius. And they say, well, you act like a Leo. I'm like, no, I ain't no Leo, but I am a Leo. And it's funny because, with the moon, it changes our behavior. Look how excited people were today about the new, about this total solar eclipse. I told somebody, you want to really get excited? Wait until the moon, the sun, and the earth all line up in one. Mm-hmm. And that's what they call a total eclipse. Everybody blocking everybody, just like, some folks we know, they blocking everything. All the planets at one time, the moon, the sun, and the earth are in perfect alignment.
So now I'm moving to a Sahel savanna, or I'm going to be in zone 11 in a savanna, which is dry as dirt. How can the moon help me with my growing cycle there? There is water under the earth, but it's deep down.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be perfect for you, especially if you want to do herbs. Because when you see those weeds outside that grow so pretty, them dandelions that's coming up through the cracks, and dandelion is a natural, is a European native.
Mm-hmm.
So they got dandelion all over there, and they grow in. Over here, you got some weeds that we discovered are herbs, and they're edible and medicinal. They grow in sand, they grow in dirt. Most plants, depending on what region you're in, they've already adapted to where they're at. So if you want to manipulate, you're going to go get you a bag of potting mix, some containers, and grow above ground.
Okay.
And even though it's dry in a savanna setting, you're going to offset it, because guess you're going to get it from God. Let me water this plant. I mean, we do, to me, where you live and what zone, the hardiness zone, pretty much they did all the homework for you. They know what will grow well there and when. And if you want to, try something totally different, then you're going to say, you know what, I can't do nothing with this in the ground. I'm going to put it in a container.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you still have me in awe about total solar eclipse, how everything just has to line up perfectly.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
to me, that
Well,
freaks me out. Like, oh, it gives me chills, you know, how it just perfectly aligns and makes it so everything to me is like not everything, but just geometry. I know we talk about geometry so much, and I'm doing it, I'm talking about it all the time, but the planets and the movement, the cycles, the amounts of water that pull up, it's so mathematical, just nature's rhythmic energy. And thinking about these close to spherical bodies, the moon, the earth, and the sun, and how their rotations aren't perfectly, like some of them are, what do they call it? It's more like an oval shape, my brain right now, but just to see how it perfectly aligns with the shadow in a total solar eclipse, and
mhm.
of that alignment mathematically and just statistically, it is amazing. It's almost as amazing as all of us aligning this evening. That's all I had to say on that
Yeah.
matter. Yeah.
I know. Me and the girl today, because she always swear to God, I don't know, she's just so amazed. And I was telling her, because I'm 53. I said, you want to live to see Halley's Comet. And she was like, Beverly, I don't even know what that is. I said, it's the only comet, I think it's every 39 years, that when it passed through the Earth hemisphere, it is so close to us that when it comes through, people almost call it a doomsday.
Ooh.
Because you could literally go outside and see it without a microscope, without special glasses, but you got to be quick because it's moving at a speed that literally you can't fathom. And it comes through. I was lucky in '86 that my chemistry teacher, as wild as he was, let's go outside and look at it. He was standing there like, and he was like, this is beautiful because this is a once in a lifetime thing. And that year, '86, was like, I'm 16. And I went through a phase where I didn't go through that teenage rebellion and stuff. It's like my mind just did a total 360. I want to study hard. I want to learn this grafting, and Daddy, how you doing all this stuff, and teach me more, and really start getting into commercial growing. And it tripped me out. He said, you're only going to see how this coming once in your lifetime. And I was like, wow, dang. So, when we look at these things, like the total solar eclipse that happened today, it's not that it only happens once in our lifetime. It's only passed through the northern hemisphere this time. So it's kind of like, oh, wow, kind of cool.
Mhm. Thank you.
You'll see a lot of plants start blossoming. You'll start seeing stuff looking a little brighter. And we'll have a more of, if you're like I'm in Miami, it's summer all the time. It's summer all the time. Some places that have spring, but have a longer spring. And it's so funny how in I think in Japan, where they studied it, where they had a solar, witness a solar eclipse, that literally their spring lasted like 3 weeks longer.
Mm.
I was like, oh, wow. Look at y'all just go. It's just so much to read about, not just, how plants react. Good thing it only lasts 4 minutes or 5 minutes, because when you have these eclipses, plants need the sun to photosynthesize so they can bring us fruit and vegetables. I'm kind of glad it only lasts a few seconds and don't happen that often. I get excited about it. It's like, okay, and I just, I hope it don't stay like this.
Well,
Yeah.
in Frankfurt, we don't get a whole lot of sun. We get more cloud than anything, but the sun is still there. We just don't see it. But I really believe with the moon, because I see a lot of the flowers now with the new moon, they have actually opened. They were growing really fast before, but now on this new moon, they're opening up and they're really out. So I think that the lack of sun doesn't change anything, because there are a lot of wildflowers here, and planted flowers too, but a lot of wildflowers. But I see that they blossom. They seem to blossom like they're blossoming now, right on the new moon.
Now, are they fruit bearing?
No, they just
No, with fruit
decorative.
bearing. Yeah, with fruit bearing plants, they need the light.
Mm-hmm.
Because the photosynthesis in their Krebs cycle and their Calvin cycle push it to go from flower to fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with most flowers, they're just a beautiful flower. Whether they get solar energy light.
Mm-hmm.
So even though they're not getting a lot of sun, they're still getting that solar energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you talk about the difference between solar energy and heat energy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot. You got to really, when you start reading about it, and daylight intensity and the moisture in the air and vapor pressure deficits, and start really looking at that stuff and saying, what all this crap mean? And I make money with it, but at the same time, what does it mean? What are y'all talking about? Because with herbs and flowers, they don't need a lot of solar energy.
Right.
Where if you want to eat something, that's when you start seeing these folks pull out them grow lights. I want this to go to fruit. So, in places like Germany, and I lived in Holland for 4 years, they use a lot of grow lights. Because even though, it's not sunny a lot, they need that extra light. And what they use a lot of red and blue and green. Because that light energy, produces different plant responses.
So how do we know the vegetables? Some vegetables I know do better. They ripen in the dark, like tomatoes or plums. You put them in a bag under the cabinet and they get ripe. So is there a guide, or is there any kind of system to know which plants do better with the, in the dark, or which more ripen better with more moonlight, or how do we know which ones?
There's no real finite,
Okay.
if you go ask Google, how do I know? Most people gonna tell you, they're repeating what our grandmothers and great grandmothers is. I call that hand me down. I don't call it hand me down all the time. I call it that yah knowledge, where you seen your grandma do it, your great grandma do it. So guess what you're doing? I'm gonna put these potatoes down here in that bag, and next week they'll be good. Okay. It's some plants that just don't ripen off the vine. And it's some that do, like tomatoes. You throw them things in the refrigerator and try to eat them. They taste like crap, but you put them somewhere where they could stay firm. And it's that yah knowledge that if you grew up with it, if grandma did it, just because everybody say can't always believe what grandma did, but guess what? You can believe that.
Mhm.
My great grandmother, she was from Suriname, and they came from Suriname to Mississippi to grow cotton on the plantation. So my grandma, everything she said she did because she seen her mom do. I asked my mom 90 years old, Mom, why you do that? Because I seen my mama do it. And I said, well, Beverly, why you do that? I seen my mama do it. That's that yaya knowledge that, people may say, oh, that's crazy, but it works.
Mhm.
Like growing more onions. They put them in, they rough them in a paper towel, they wet it, throw it in a bag, and next thing you know, this green thing coming out ain't even hit no soil.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of things that, when we write down our history, you all gardeners, growers, write down what you do. Write down what makes it work for you, because it just like gardening, that moon energy. I know for a while I just could not get it together because my energy, the green thumb who was like, I'm sick of you right now. So I had to get my energy back into alignment.
Mm.
So write down some of the things you do, when you grew something, where you grew it at, and then compare it to the next time you grow it.
Nice. I love that. And we're really appreciating the yaya knowledge. So you're gonna hear me saying that yaya knowledge on these
But
next
yeah,
lounge and in between. You feel me?
it's
Mhm.
it's good. It's good. Get around a bunch of elderly people, and you hear things that they did to grow, like you say, in the savannas, especially Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, in that clay dirt. It'll blow your mind.
Mm. One thing I love about what you just said, and you've mentioned this to me before, was two things. The first thing was you said that green thumb was tired of you. You had to get your own energy back. It just goes right back to the moon, those cycles. You got to get in tune with your own cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rejuvenate, get back to that self. And I love that. And what is the saying? It ain't about the plants, it's about the people, the people that the plant bring together, right? But what I love about what you're saying is there are things that we can say are, I don't want to say set in stone, but there's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of wisdom. At the end of the day, one thing I really appreciate about you've always encouraged me to just give it a try. They said I couldn't grow this year. Go ahead and try it. You know how many times I've had success with things when people told me to grow it in the past year alone? I think a couple days ago, yesterday, I'm like, well, this area doesn't get full sun, Beverly. So I don't know if I'm gonna do, I love my okra varieties. What did you tell me? Do it
Right.
anyway. This is your own cycle, and write it down. If it doesn't work, it don't work. If it do, it do. But guess what? When you read the Farmer's Almanac help or any other type of information, were they talking about exactly this latitude and longitude in my backyard with my energy and my baby girls and my family? Nope. So maybe it will work. So I just love that, because just that alone, it's just the same thing with herbalism. Like everyone, the art of herbalism is different for everyone. We have our own flow, our own way of doing it, and the experience is the journey itself is beautiful. So I just had to say thank you. And yeah, Asia is saying that good red clay. Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm telling you, the best collard greens, the best yams. I be like, man, my mom is like, when y'all in Florida, you act like you can't eat. You come to Mississippi, you act like you never ate in your life. And the food did taste different because she grew literally everything she ate, she can. Matter of fact, she lived in Utica. You could got one stop sign, and they probably just not getting a red light. But it's just amazing how different soils, different areas, plants adapt to where they're at.
Mhm.
Only
Well,
creatures on this.
I
Only
hope
creatures.
you're right on that one, because I'm taking a whole bunch of seeds from the US and I'm going to try to grow them, especially green leafy vegetables in Senegal, because they don't grow a lot of big green leafy vegetables. But I
What
know
is?
someone there that's growing kale and collard greens. So I'm going to try it, see if it works there.
And ask them, what are you doing? What are you doing to get this stuff to grow? Because Liberia, Monrovia, they're finna take the agriculture game to a whole new level because they have virgin soil.
Right.
And literally, when you look at the U.S. map, the transcontinental drift, the place shifting, everybody moving all over the place. Piece that puzzle together. Africa is literally right there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to look at what are they doing? What are they growing over there? And I did a thing with them maybe 5-6 years ago, literally on Skype with them, where it's like 2:00 in the afternoon and it's like 6:00 in the morning to me. But seeing them talk about how they could grow pineapple, sugar cane, everything we could grow in Florida, they're growing it over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just plants adapt to where they're at. But you got to figure out how to help it out.
Mm-hmm.
Do I maybe need to add a little bit of water? Do I need to put it in a container? Okay, somebody's growing this here already. What season did they grow it in? Because like if you say Beverly, grow collard greens in Miami next winter, I'm gonna tell you no.
Mm-hmm.
You say, why not? I said, because the winter here is 70 to 80 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm gonna feed the caterpillars. They love them. But you got to know where you at, what you're growing, and where you and how you're gonna grow it, and write it down. Write it down. That longitude, latitude, sea elevation, below sea level, above sea level. That's how you look at them bayous down there in Louisiana. How they could, grow certain things there where everywhere else you can't grow it unless you have a lot of water because why? They're below sea level.
That's right.
You just got to know where you're at, what you're growing, and how you're going to help it out. Because a lot of stuff that we grow in the U.S. was brung here.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Beverly, I really appreciate you talking about those collard greens because I was at the plant nursery yesterday and I'm in the desert now. And I was just like, oh, I really want some Georgia collard greens. But I just kept going because I was like, there's no way that they're going to have that sweet taste that you get in the South. It's just not going to happen here. Not with where I'm trying to plant it. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and these commercial outfits with this indoor growing, with these controlled environments, they use a lot of them. You find like the farm I'm at is an organic farm, and we use a lot of microbials and fungi, bacteria, everything, but we don't use chemistry. So there's no grow recipes. There's no chelets. There's no magnesium sulfates and, borons and all of that stuff. So it's like really, if you get collard greens in Arizona, look at the package and see where they was growing and look the farm up.
Okay.
So it's, no, if sometimes to get good collard greens, I like the ones you got to wash like 3 or 4 times.
Those are the best ones.
The chlorophyll came out, and you take that water and put it on your herbs and stuff. Put it in your soil, put it in your compost. Oh my God.
That's that good.
That's that good.
That good. That yeah.
Ain't kidding. It's, with your gardens, be explorers. Be your own scientist. Be your own mini. I know a lot of backyard gardeners that are commercial growers now. And they use that knowledge that my farm is like, how do you be growing all this stuff in this greenhouse and it's so hot? Well, I'm gonna go grow plants that like the hot. Duh. And it's like, oh, okay. We growing melons I can't even pronounce. I told Martina my secret weapon. I go on rareseeds.com. So when they see this funny stuff, they're like, oh, wow, you just incredible. And I'm like, no, rareseeds.com. Where you could literally, this company has stuff you like, I've never seen nothing like that. So it's be explorers, be inquisitive. Even if the seed packs say, they always tell you different colors, different areas in the U.S. where you could grow different things. In Georgia, we was like on that elevation level because Atlanta is on a plateau. So they had a little bit of sand and a little bit of clay. So I looked at stuff that grew well in clay, grew well in sand, and we ended up with fruit trees.
So would the lunar cycle affect the salination of a soil? Because part of where I'm going to be growing is right there on the Atlantic Ocean. And, I guess just like the sea spray coming up there, the soil is kind of salinated. So would the lunar cycle help to dilute, some of that saltiness in the soil?
No. And I'm going to tell you why. The saltiness in the soil is almost like its natural defense against pests. Because there are certain pests on that Atlantic. As soon as you try to put something down in that ground without that salt, it'll eat it out. And you're thinking, oh my God, this salt is just burning my plants out. No, it's those little microbes that are predators that's in that salty soil eating your plants out.
Okay.
So when you're planting, like I'm down here in Miami, I'm more inland where I'm around more marinas. So I did everything in containers because guess what's all down here? Fruit trees. There are a lot of fruit trees. Everybody got a coconut tree. Everybody got carmitos. Everybody got all kind of fruit trees because they like sandy, salty soil. Well, stuff that I like to eat is alkaline and needs some sweetness. So the natural defense that's in that soil is not the salt that's going to hurt you. It's that salt is there as a protectant. So those bad insects that's underground, when you try to plant something, you do it as a transplant. And if you're really unsure, ain't nothing wrong with getting a raised bed.
Nice.
Yeah, get you one of them. I don't know, Family Dollar. His lady said she can't afford to do a raised bed. I said, go get that little $15 blue pool from Family Dollars, pump some holes in it, and let it ride.
Word. Oh, Beverly, believe me, Lanita gonna find some ways. One thing about Lanita, after this talk, I can't wait to talk to Lanita in a week or so. Lanita's gonna take this and exponentially grow. Believe that. Lanita's gonna find a way. Y'all remind me of each other in so many ways when it comes to that exploratory, I'm gonna do this type of thing. Oh,
Yeah. Especially like when you got those old tennis shoes, instead of throwing them away,
Mm-hmm.
fill them with some salt and put some herbs in them. You probably only have to wear them one time, because tennis shoes, you know how when we wear sneakers and they get wet, they hold that wetness.
mm-hmm.
There you go with your herbs.
Mm.
That's a recycle project. Thank you. That was
Right.
a
Now
bar
we
there. I
upcycling
got
over here.
that.
That's sustainable growing right there.
That's
How do
it.
you grow sustainably? I use my sneakers.
I
What?
use funky shoes.
Yeah,
Toe
My
jam.
link up.
I know that's right.
Oh my gosh, I
Toe
love
jam and all.
it. Now I ain't gonna be harvesting herbs from everybody's shoe, but it's all good. I'll do it from shoes, but not everybody. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Growing is fun. And that's my thing. It's not about the plant. It's about the person. That's your energy. That's your moon energy, your sun energy, your water energy, all going into that plant. And if your energy, like I say, it went up here, well, I don't care what I tried to grow, it wouldn't happen
Mm.
until I got my solar energy, my moon energy, my water energy back in sync with who am I? What is this about?
What is my cycle? So that whole time my grandma was saying the moon's watching me, I was really just looking in the mirror watching myself. Is that what
There
you
you
said?
go.
Okay.
That's what we are. Or somebody say, that 28 days, you can count it on the calendar, 21 to 28 days. Here it comes. We are moon. That's why the moon is feminine. Lunar. That's why the moon is feminine. The sun is masculine. Water is neutral. And hey, people say, so what you're saying, water is transgender. I say, no, water is a encompass of energy of vaporized liquid. Because when it rains, the heat energy goes up, and what comes down is the precip. So all this stuff over time built water. So, we're all that energy. We are a reflection of our universe.
Mm-hmm. Now you got me thinking about, now we were talking about lunar gardening. Now we have a little slide that says lunar herbalism. And I had to think this, okay? So you all know, all my herb nerds, we know when we do like infused oils, we do solar infusions, right? So what about those lunar infusions, right? I was thinking keeping it out of the sun, but putting it under the cycles of the moon and working with the lunar cycles with, maybe a vinegar infusion or an alcoholic tincture or something of that nature, just a thought. You don't hear it as often as you do like solar infused, lunar infused or whatnot, but why not? Why
I
not?
know with crystals, I work with the moon because that's the best way to clean the energy off of your crystals, putting them out in the full moon. And it definitely clears that energy off of your crystals. When you're using your crystals on different people, you have to clean them, and putting them out in that full moon makes a big difference.
Nice. Now you got me thinking of remedies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's all about that intention. So I know sometimes some people say start your herbal tinctures on the new moon, and then it goes into that waxing phase where it's like pulling everything out. And then it's most potent on the full moon. But then again, like what you were just saying, what if my intentions are to make like a cleansing remedy and my intentions of starting it on the full moon? So it's so versatile and symbolic what your intentions are and what does it mean to you, and this is something I got to throw out there. If anyone can speak on this, I have always been so fascinated with night blooming plants, like this night blooming cereus, the cactus bloom. Sister Beverly, Could you speak anything on like the flower? I don't know a lot of them, but I know a few flowers that are said, maybe it's not necessarily the moon, but that are said to bloom. They do bloom at night. I've seen them. I've witnessed them before. What is it about night blooming flowers? And I know sometimes pollinators like bats and stuff probably have something to do with it, but can anybody speak on that?
I call it the nocturnal dance. When you have stuff like moonflowers, your yellow flowers, your dandelions, they do all their work at night and they sleep during the day. So you pass by this plant and it was closed up all day. You're like, oh, that plant's gonna die. And then you walk by it at night and it's fully open.
Mm-hmm.
So plants like that, they have more stamina. The middle part, it looks like little whiskers.
Mm-hmm.
Moon is protecting those because they're very, as soon as heat hit them, they die out. So and during the daytime, they close.
Oh, okay.
At night, they open back up.
Never thought about that.
Jasmine, moonflowers, gardenia, primrose,
The
cereus.
evening primrose, yes.
Evening primrose, yeah.
They do even cucumbers, melons.
Ooh.
They do all their work at night. Cactus, yellow jasmine, white jasmine. During the day, they look like they're struggling. And then at night, it's like a full plant ball. Everybody's showing off their beautiful colors.
I love it. Plants are so full of personalities, you know? They're all so different. I love it. Again? The what dance again?
The nocturnal dance.
Nocturnal dance. And Asia says all that water makes sense for the melons. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, we because they tell me you can't do, melons in a trough system. I was like, whatever. So I got melons growing in these little trough things. And they said during the daytime, you can't find them. I said, because the leaves are smart enough to hide them from you. But if you come early in the morning before the light comes on, this thing is just sitting out there like, hey. I said, then it goes and it sleeps all day and it's up all night. So by the time we come in, it's going to bed. And that's literally what plants do. Especially like when I'm running irrigation cycles, I put the cucumbers and the tomatoes on opposite sides of the room because tomatoes are daytime plants. They eat all night and they use that energy during the daytime. With cucumbers, they sleep all day and they eat all night. So there are plants because they're real gentle. They have sensors that the sun will literally like kind of burn them off. But because we're hydrating them, keeping them happy, they could kind of withstand. But at night, when we start feeding the cucumbers at 6:00 and you go in the greenhouse, because we don't use synthetic light. In organics, you can't use synthetic light. So, we had a camera rolling and the cucumbers like dancing and the tomatoes look like they just worn out. Like, we're going to bed. Y'all have that. So that's why starry nights, jasmine. When you have a jasmine plant by your window, it lets off a pheromone soon as the morning dew hit it, and then it goes to sleep.
Okay.
That's why you don't smell it during the day. Gardenias, soon as the morning dew hit it, you smell it, and then all day long you have this odor. Like, what is that? And you're like, never mind, it's that. But at night, it's like the most beautiful scent. Citronella, it's the same way.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I love the nighttime plants. That I tell you, they're beautiful, and the majority of them are white.
I've noticed that. Dope.
Doctrine of Signatures is going off.
Doctrine of Signatures is in the house. Asia said the plant freaks come out at night. Let them scents come out, baby. Ooh.
Telling you.
You're crazy, Asia. I love it. Oh.
I'm telling you, you don't never smell citronella all day.
Mm-mm.
And as soon as the night hit, because that pheromone repels mosquitoes.
Mhm.
You smell the citronella, we call it a skeeter 30. Like about 6 o'clock, just as that
Yeah,
sun is going down, that's when
Yeah.
you start smelling that citronella.
Yep. And down here where I'm at, you don't know if that mosquito is a drone or is that a real thing. I mean, they're huge. I'm like, oh, wow.
Here's some suspect mosquitoes too.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, they ain't real. They right there in that citronella. Nope.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
Lovely. Thank you for breaking down the whole science of that, though. That was beautiful.
I tell you, they're funny. They're funny. Get your little camera out there and watch them plants at night. You're like, wait a minute. It almost remind you of those movies about little fairies and stuff like that.
Fern Gully, Secret
Yeah.
Lives of Cats or Pets, Secret Lives of Plants. That can be like a modern day movie where the plants is be doing thing at nighttime. According to my youngest, if you see a dragonfly, there's a fairy on that dragonfly. So I'm just saying, y'all, there's fairies out there all the time.
Somebody told the third time somebody in my life had said, I haven't seen a dragonfly until you came around.
Mm.
I'm like, I thought they always been here. They was like, no. It's I've never seen a dragonfly until you moved in. It's all kind of stuff. They had a eagle laying down. Just sitting there. That eagle was bigger than Moose.
You said an eagle bigger than Moose?
Yeah.
Tell them who Moose is so they can.
I know that eagle do not know. You touch my dog, you might as well go ahead and count that time because you are gonna be gone.
Tell Asia what kind of dog you have, Beverly.
He's a black and chocolate lab.
I think Asia knows a little something. That's all I have to say. I'll be talking about y'all dogs together when they be.
I'm gonna send some pictures of Martina for you, Miss Beverly.
Moose is a trip.
I'm getting a lab. Thanks to y'all too, because I already have a child named Nairobi, okay, with a similar personality. But yeah,
Moose is. Somebody said I should have named Moose Kangaroo. Yeah, but the eagle landed. They were like, they always say, people always say, well, who are you? I mean, you know what? I'm just a mystical element. I go where I go. I do what I do. But I didn't ask that bird to land. And I didn't know what it was. Because it was just hopping around and they was like, oh my God, they taking pictures. I'm like, y'all better get this thing out this yard. But those birds are huge. They are huge. So, and then I'm fostering an American pit bull. No, an American bulldog.
Mm.
So she wants to do everything Moose does.
Can't relate, y'all. Sorry.
Anybody want a dog?
Nope, gotta go. All right, this is the end of the Herbalist Lounge. Good night. I need to stop. Okay, this is the Herbalist Lounge, not the Pet Lounge. My children might be awake. Okay,
All
not
related,
happening.
you know, it's in cycles. It's in cycles. So
It's the cycle.
Please, help me, please.
Y'all were talking about the dance of the plants, and I realized that I worked overnight, so I'd get off early morning just as the dew is beginning to dry up off the plants. And some of those plants that flower and open at night, in the morning, you can see it's like they saluting you saying good night when I be coming home from work. The plants would, kind of do their little salute. Yeah, we've been up all night. It's time to close. But you could catch some of them open in the early, early morning when it's still a little dew on them. It's cool. They're opened up.
Yep.
All right, so next project of exploration. I'm doing a nighttime garden.
yeah,
That sounds
That's gonna be so cool.
yeah. Dope.
Because what they say, the moonflower only blooms when the moon is out.
Okay.
So what are your pollinators, bats?
Actually, they don't need they're asexual. They don't need a pollinator. A lot of the nighttime plants are asexual plants.
Okay.
So they don't really need a pollinator. They're self-pollinating. That's when you start seeing these self-pollinating seeds. It's not that nobody did anything to them. They naturally just don't need a pollinator. Because most of them don't carry a lot of pollen anyway.
Good to know.
Interesting. This is a beautiful build. I'm looking at this flower here. It looks like feathers, almost white feathers.
yeah, really it does.
Daffodil is one of those plants that if you could grow them, they're fun to grow, but they're just so many looks of it that they're just one of them plants. If you want to explore, that's a good exploring plant.
Okay. Nice. Well, let the games begin, y'all.
I know, right?
Games begin. Look, we got all kinds of good stuff. It's our birthday and lunar gardening, nighttime gardens. Oh my gosh, I'm like super excited right now.
Yeah. Look, my crazy self.
It's so cool. I think that's why I did melons. Because during the daytime, their little flowers are closed, especially when they're trying to mature. So during the day, they're closed, and at night, they pop open. So I run out there and say, I see you.
Does anyone have any other questions? How are we doing? I mean, we've dropped so many gems so far tonight. Like, wow. Like I'm gonna have some dreams about some of the stuff we talked about tonight, excluding dogs. But anyways, yeah, like just a lot of magical stuff with plants and new things just to marinate on. How we doing, Clarissa? How we doing, Akua? Good. Good.
Yeah, it's always every time, Sister Beverly, every time you speak, I have to take a moment and reflect on what you're saying. Like, yeah, it takes me a moment to come back.
No, knowledge just need to be shared. I always say the only place where all knowledge that is just wasted is a graveyard. Leave your knowledge on this earth. Let somebody else have it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so that's what we do. That's what I do.
Most definitely.
Yes, and we are grateful for it.
One of the seed companies I use where I get a lot of stuff too is called True Love Seeds.
Oh, I think I've heard of them. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Go ahead.
Okay. No. I was gonna say, like, how do you spell it? But go ahead. Go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm gonna check that out myself.
Yep, True Love. I can let's see. Chat. Put my glasses on.
Mhm.
True
I'm gonna
Love.
get
I
that
like
name.
that.
True Love Seeds.
Mm.
And then another one is
Ooh,
Rare
and
Seeds.
diaspora collection. Dope.
Yeah, she's dope.
Whoa. Oh, look at those okra. Oh,
Mm-hmm. That's
let me
where I
try
find
the red okras. Yes.
that's where I find a lot of on True Love because they're independent. They're good
Ooh.
people where you find that real like,
Ooh.
oh my God, I want to grow that here. I want to grow that. They have some really good selections. And some of the stuff you probably would never see in a grocery store.
I want to grow everything. Oh my goodness. Look at all this stuff. Beautiful.
And like rareseeds.com or Rare Seeds. There used to be a company called Baker Creek. And
Okay.
they have some really, if you like tomatoes, I'm telling you, they got some tomatoes. Sometimes I look at them like, wow. So they have those are the two places when I really want something totally bizarre and different. Those are the two places I go.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Mhm. Yes, thank you. Yeah, look, I'm like, okay, yep, I'm about to trade my whole income for this right here.
I already got all this stuff in my cart. I'm about to check out. Shoot. Y'all think it's a game. I'm getting the African diaspora collection. Didn't
I'm
you say
telling you.
continental drift? Shoot, we all connected. They about to be going right here in Central Florida.
Mhm. I'm telling you, those are my two go-tos when people say, we want some real, we want stuff that you're just not going to find at Publix, Walmart, Kroger's, Safeway, Foodway. And those are the two places I go.
So Clarissa says, what do you consider to be bizarre or different?
Uh-oh.
Stuff that you don't find at Walmart, all the major chains, stuff that other growers said, I can't grow that. Stuff that I have to literally know somebody who knows somebody who got the seeds who say I can have some. And to grow it in commercial, it's a niche because I know they can afford to grow it, but because we eat what we're conditioned to eat. But if I say, like I was showing Martina the lemon cucumber, which is a round ball cucumber, a white cucumber, most people like, okay, you just tore my eyes up. Then I hit them with a brown cucumber, and they're like, I never even heard of it. And it's called a succulent. So I grow that stuff where I would take an elderly person and say, have you ever seen this before? And they're like, no, what is that? And then
we got some lemon ball cucumbers growing at Blackland Ranch this year. That's a first for us.
Yep. Those seeds been around so long. The thing is, you got to be real patient. Real patient. You might get a few here and there, but be real patient.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get some real nice cucumbers off of them. And for me to grow that in commercial and sell it to chefs, That's kind of huge because most of people who do try to grow them say they can't get them to go. So bazaar to me is shaped funny, it looks funny, but it tastes good. Like on True Love have this melon that I love growing. It's fun to grow. It looks like a watermelon, but it's probably the only melon that you can eat the seeds.
Mm.
And it's called the Igusi melon.
Egusi soup.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You can actually eat the seed, the melon, the whole thing. Yeah, so
Nice. Mm.
So is that variety from Nigeria?
the Igusi,
Yeah.
let's see where it's from. It's West Africa. Nigeria, yep. Nigeria. The breeder who's growing these in Mississippi. So, yep, that's a Nigerian breed.
Yummy.
So True Love, there's some good people. They got good stuff, but it's not typical stuff that you're gonna find. You're not gonna even go to the farmer's market and find it.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carissa, she's loving this in the chat. She's like mind blown. So she was saying, thanks for all the gems. I like these bizarre finds.
Mm-hmm.
So do I. Y'all tell me to stop filling up my cart with these seeds.
We're not gonna tell you that.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Yes, ma'am. I'm on it.
I mean, it's
goodness.
rich, especially if you like cooking dinners for family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Growing stuff, using stuff that's in your garden. These are things people be like, "Oh my God, where you find this at?" I think one of them, I bought some azafran, which is a saffron. Which one did I find it on? Yeah, on Rare Seeds, I found the azafran, and it's like $3. I think you get like 50 seeds.
Mm.
Well, the saffron on here is sold out.
Oof.
Wow, yeah.
It's just addictive. I know.
Not talking about. Stop that. It ain't addictive.
And I'm trying to be real intentional now that I'm in this new location and no yard, just space to grow stuff, but in like pots and raised beds.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that, I'm vibing with this thing here. I'm gonna try it, but I just want to make sure like it's hard. Like I'm not buying all these seeds, but like, do I need to pay this house note? No. Will they take brown cucumbers as payment?
Yes, they
I
will.
know.
If they knew what it was, they would. Listen, okay?
I tell you, it's something else. These two websites, your eyes just like you want everything, like, oh my God. But these are the two companies I use when everybody was like, oh my God, the pine nut. strawberries. I'm like, no, I seen them on that side. I ain't like them.
Mm.
It's just they just have it's just that one grower that took the chance to grow it and was able to capitalize off of it.
Mm. Clarissa
Ooh.
says, what inspired you to step out and find these other unique seeds? And so cool. She loves this.
Mhm.
I just didn't want to grow what everybody else was growing.
Right? Cause yeah, it does. It gets real boring. Like when I was in that nursery yesterday, of course, I love my peppermints and not in the ground, but I love all the mints and stuff. But it was just like, okay, peppermint, basil, rosemary, and not that I take those for granted, but I'm just like, let's get something else in our diet and see what else can either be I don't want to use that word, but what else we can find outside that's just already growing there, or what else can we grow that's different that can that we can incorporate into our diets.
It's when it comes to your palate, it's all about, like Mama say, try new things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You may not like green kale, but what if you could find like red kale or a different kale? You might not like beets, but what if you like the orange beets?
Mm-hmm.
Because we eat with our eyes and we're willing to try new things if it's attractive to us.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on what your eyes and your palate can agree on.
That is so true. And it just reminds us of like so many varieties. Like just looking on this site, for example, Alabama blue collards, green glazed collards. Like there's so many different varieties of just collards alone.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to try every single one.
And there's so many different types of leafy greens.
Callalus. Oh my goodness. They have so many varieties of callaloo alone.
And it depends on, really, like me, I like melons a lot. So I know in Georgia they had the yellow meat watermelons. I fell in love with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, okay, you can't find it nowhere else, because people are like, okay, why is it that color? And I'm like, oh, it's really sweet, because the red watermelon is the cheapest of all watermelons. And the healthiest watermelons are your yellow meats, your orange meats.
Those my favorite ones. Look, my accent is coming back. I'm about to take a trip home.
My
that
favorite one.
just coming right up out of
Just straight up. Good. If you don't hop on the plane and get in that car right now.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Xiaomi.
All right. So, okay. We have any other questions? Anything else we want to talk about in relation to lunar cycles or the moon or anything? This has been a wonderful build.
Mm-hmm. A beautiful birthday celebration too.
I know, got all kind of packages. I know this one melon I'm going to grow is the Cajo melon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very small melon, and it looks so funky. I'm like, oh, I'm growing this one.
Sister Beverly, I'm on my way to Miami right now. I'm gonna see you in probably when you at nighttime. We about to go on a nighttime plant walk.
I know. And see, down here in the Redlands, it's really called the Redlands Agricultural Center. There's literally a nursery or a farm on every corner.
Mm.
You know, and a lot of the major nurseries are down here. And it is kind of cool because I'm not that far from Key Largo. So for my birthday, I want to see Mile Zero. So, and Mile Zero is like the point where that's where you see all these ships with the, you know, these little makeshift dinghies where people are literally entering into the US.
Mm.
So I told them I want to see it. That's my 54th birthday gift to me because that's something I truly have never seen.
Nice.
So I love the Atlantic. I always tell, you know, Martina, you know, I love going to the beach, but I don't go just to go to the beach and lay out in the sun. That's how I get in total sync with my ancestors because they came here via Atlantic. So when I look at that ocean, I look at that water energy, that sun energy, and I start thinking, you know, here they come. What was they bringing with them? What was they thinking about? And we see all these different plants, and we wonder, can we grow this here? You know, majority of the plants that's grown in the U.S. came from Europe or Africa or Asia and cultivated here. Corn, wheat, stuff like you see out there in Illinois, the wheat fields, the corn fields. Not cotton is not even an American plant. So it's kind of really, you know,
So how did Mount Bayou, Mississippi set the standard for cotton if
Hello.
it wasn't a plant? Mount Bayou, Mississippi was supposed to be the best cotton in the world, and everybody wanted a stamp from Mount Bayou, Mississippi. So I always thought that the cotton, well, I knew it didn't originate here, but anyway, I don't know how they got to be the standard.
Do we? I can't hear Sister Beverly anymore.
Uh-oh, she dropped off.
Oh, that's what happened.
And I love how Lanita just came throughout the sap. Lanita, I love you so much. Woo. You be coming with the questions, boy. How we doing, y'all? Let me check in on Sister Beverly. Let me check on her real quick.
Yeah, while we doing that, while you doing that, could you come back in a moment? I'm sure. Yeah, we for a while, we've let our Herbalist Lounge go about 30, 40 minutes, but tonight, you know, it's just been a special night. So we vibing old school style right now.
Look, that's exactly what we doing, okay? Shoot. Ain't nobody worried about what time we gotta wake up. This is like them nights where you just out and about. You don't care about anything. We just having a good time.
We blooming tonight. I think you got cut out because I just let somebody else back in too. So
Okay.
yeah.
Y'all better hang late with us on this birthday night. We just getting started. We about to take some herbal shots. So you stop. The next y'all gonna be like, Martina, you there? Oh, Clarissa, stop it. Oh,
Too funny.
Clarissa, greetings, earthlings. I told Clarissa today, don't tell me earthlings. What did I say, Clarissa? I'm not an earthling. What am I, Clarissa?
A Martian.
Martina.
Martina Martian. I'm just
Too funny.
You know how like you look up the meaning of your name? So I was so excited when we were like young. I'm like, yo, I mean, I'm still young, but I'm just saying, like, I was like, yo, what does my name mean? Everyone's looking it up. It means gentle flower, or to persevere. Mine meant warlike, like a Martian. That's what it said on the website. So I always remembered it till this day. Oh.
Y'all talking on. I'm this close to Area 51. Come on, Martina.
Okay, she says I'm good. I thought the meeting timed out. No, come back. Come back. Sounds so desperate, right? Come back. We miss you.
We're waiting.
All right, I text her to come back. I said we can't close like that. At least come back so we can, you know. Oh,
Maybe it did. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, there was a lot to have learned tonight. Well, while she's coming back in, what was it? There was something else oh yeah, Lanita talked about, how babies, definitely we observed that more babies in our experience have been born during full moons,
mhm.
during those cycles.
Clarissa, have you noticed any patterns being a birth worker yourself?
Oh, yes. I always look at the moon when I'm like, oh, everybody is giving birth, and I'll look and I'll, oh, it's a full moon. Yeah. Even when I used to work full time on the mother baby unit, and we would always know, oh, we're gonna have a lot of babies today. It's a full moon. Yeah, it
Mm,
definitely aligns with the moon, the babies do.
nice. Okay.
The uteruses do too.
That's true.
Hey, Clarissa, we noticed at our hospital that you got a lot of babies on the full moon, but we got a lot of NICU babies on the new moon.
Mm.
The babies born on the new moon would many times they would be sick or early.
Mm.
I need to go back and look, see when I was born. I didn't want to come out.
I know. I need to go back and look too.
Why don't we do it right now?
I know.
I mean, there's a party. Let's build, y'all. Let's find out.
I can tell you I was a new moon baby.
I just looked it up the other day and I forgot already. Help. Must be a link to my memory or something. Let's see. Moon calendar.
Full moon. Ooh. With an illumination of 99.24%. This
Yeah, illumination 53.11%.
Illumination 1%. Let me stop. Let me find
negative.
Y'all leave me alone. I'm a night. Wait, that don't make sense. Hold on. Let me see.
He's still Cancer though.
Come on now. Clarissa's Cancer too now.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, you June or July?
June.
Oh, help. No, I'm just playing. That makes so much sense.
Look, I asked you to date offline.
Yeah. Y'all talk later. That's all I have to say.
Okay, July. Look, my accent done came back, y'all. It's here.
Oh. All right, let me see what's up with Miss Beverly, sister. I'm gonna put myself on mute real quick just to check in on her beforehand. Okay,
right.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we don't have anybody waiting.
Okay.
But yes, and also, Lanita, I don't know if this was you, like maybe a while ago, because we always end up talking about the moon cycles anyway. But sometimes the emergency rooms get filled up too during full moons. Like I've heard that. So that could be another thing too.
During the full moon, you're gonna have
But she's on her way
more
back in, so look out for her. She sounds like she turned up. Oh, I'm
more
sorry, y'all.
cardiac problems, more
Mm.
psych patients,
Mm.
and you're going to have the babies. The emergency room turns up just because of the lunatics. You know, literally, people get crazy on the full moon and do crazy stuff or hurt people. So that kind of goes in line with the psych patients, you know. But yeah, that goes up on the full moon.
Ishka.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry I did that, Lenita. I had the volume down, so I didn't mean to like shout and cut you off.
It's
I was all
okay.
like, she's ready to turn up. And Lenita's like, the lunatics, the crazy people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, help. Welcome back. We couldn't just leave like that, Sister Beverly. You know what I'm saying? So let's see.
Give a
That's some good info. So a lot of the stuff that you've told Asia and I, Lenita, coincide with kind of what Clarissa was saying, and just it's just interesting.
Yeah.
I saw this moon cycle calendar for birth, and it was talking about different organs and surgery, whether it's advisable or if you try to avoid it based on your moon cycle. I can't remember where I found that at. It was a while ago.
Mm.
This reminds me of kind of what you talk about a lot, Lenita. Do any of you guys use moon calendar, moon cycle, or moon phased apps or anything?
Yeah. Every time, look, my I have an app called. Oh, sorry, I have an app called Moon. So every new moon and full moon, it sends me a funny message.
Mine is called the Moon, Asia.
Oh, it might be called the Moon.
It don't be sending me messages. What?
Maybe not. Is it just is the app? Does it look just like a moon, like a full moon?
Yeah, it looks like that, and it tells you like what sign the moon is on a daily basis, which is really dope. Like right now, we're new moon in Aries. Well, yesterday new moon in Pisces. Today, the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, Aries. As we go through Taurus, I like how it tells you like the day, what astrological sign is ruled by those days of the cycle, lunar cycle. That's cool.
Yeah, it sent me a message today because of the new moon. It says, sorry, but it's so enlightening. So yeah, it sends you all these, well, if you accept them.
Oh, I'm over here in settings. Oh, okay.
So yeah, if I'm trying to chart my cycle as well, I don't go to those menstrual apps, which I have as well, just for history purposes. I'm gonna go to the moon app first.
Word.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, y'all. How's everyone doing? I know we got Beverly back in, and I'm enjoying myself. Also, I want to be respectful of everyone's time and everything. How are we doing? I know we did a check-in a few minutes ago, but now that we're all back in here, is everyone good? How we feeling?
Martina or Lanita, the birds are singing in her neck of the woods. So good night.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Lanita, I told I was saying it's probably breakfast time for Lanita soon, but listen. Yeah. Good night, Lanita. Do y'all want to all say good night?
Yeah, that's cool. And Sister Beverly, if you have anything that you'd like to say as we're closing out, then definitely, please.
Yeah.
We'll go through the last few slides real quick. You can
Okay,
catch.
let's do it.
Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Sister Beverly, you good?
Yes, I'm good. I had to take it off on mute. This dog was acting like a dog.
Okay, anyways. Um so if you have Asia was saying if you had anything you wanted to say during our closing, as we say good night, good morning, or whatever it is in your neck of the woods, feel free to do so. And we just really wanted to thank you from the bottom of our hearts, spirits, for just blessing us this evening. And morning once again, all around for sharing with us as you are just always so open to doing. I appreciate you for that, and I love you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Anytime. That's what we do. That's what we do. Just share that knowledge. And if anybody, if you can, because where I'm at, I'm like in the deep woods and in the Redlands. If you can, take your moon bath.
Take your moon back.
Take your a moon bath. Get you some hot water. I got one of those tubs that literally you can stand in, sit in, and just take your moon bath.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right. So we have our YouTube channel, y'all. So if you go on YouTube, look up Herbalist Lounge. We're on there. We post all the recordings. So even if you like, oh, let me go back or I missed something, then it's there. I'm so calm now. Thank you, Sister Beverly. Look, I'm like, oh.
I'm listening to him like, man, she could put somebody to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have kitchen medicine making. So that's when me, Martina, and Lanita, we did a course definitely focusing on kitchen herbalism and things that you can use every day in your kitchen for maintaining wellness and healing. So check it out. Herbalist-lounge.thinkific.com. And then
Nice.
if you haven't subscribed to the Herbalist Lounge MailChimp site, go ahead and go there. Herbalist Lounge herbalist-lounge.mailchimpsites.com. And then you can get the link to our Herbalist Lounge live in your inbox. And we do this every second Monday of the month. So we want to thank everybody for joining us for our Herbiversary, our 9th one. Sister Beverly, thank you so, so much. It has been so much of a treat. I am fuller than the moon right now. So thank you.
Nice.
And everyone has enjoyed it. Clarissa and Mama Akua, thank you for coming out. As always.
Yes. Love to you, Mama Akua and Clarissa. Thank you.
So,
You're
right.
welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
All right, Martina, I'll let you do the thing.
The thing. You mean the thing? Okay. Well, I just want to real quick before we go say thank you to everyone, and thank you, Asia, and thank you, Lanita, my partners in this Herbalist Lounge thing that we do. Next Herbalist Lounge, every second Monday of the month. Check the time zones. Peace, power, and green blessings, everyone.
Nice.